What's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy, and you're listening to my podcast, Vox and Hops, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians and we talk about their lives, their music, and craft beer. Here it is, week number 5 of the Heavy Montreal interviews. We are approaching the end. I only have one more week coming up after this one, and then we shall be moving on to a whole bunch of other crazy interviews. You know, about a month has passed since I was at Heavy Montreal, and I've had time to reminisce. I've had time to miss it, and I'm already looking forward to next year. I hope I'm home. If I'm on tour, I will be getting a whole bunch of interviews at other festivals in Europe, so I'm not overly worried, and I'm stoked to share all that with you in the future. Don't you forget that starting tonight in Chambly, Quebec, is the Festival Bière et Saveur, and Vox and Hops is going to be there. I already have a few interviews lined up with some local brewers. Super excited about that. Can't wait to share that with all of you and to share my experience at the festival, my favorite beers, my favorite breweries, just how the festival was. If you like craft beer and you live close to Chambly, you should come up. You should get your tickets and come drink some great beer with me. If you see me, you recognize me, come say hi. Today on the podcast, I am with Scott Middleton from the Cancer Bats. Here it is, Vox and Hops, episode number 56.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm with Scott Middleton from the Cancer Bats.
How's it going, man?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, really good, really good. Just got here.
You're sweating it out.
Yeah, it's already hot, but...
Heavy Montreal.
Yeah.
How many times you guys played this festival?
This will be our 3rd time.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. Every time you get booked, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel really excited because I think it's one of those... it's one of the festivals I would consider kind of like setting the best example for festivals around the world. They really take care of not only the artists backstage, it's real nice for us, you know, whatever, who cares, but I think the festival experience is on par with all the best festivals in Europe, which is really saying something, because I think for a really long time before this festival, there was not that kind of experience for people who love heavy music especially, and I'm really proud that we have something of this caliber here.
I agree. Me being in a touring band,
you understand.
I
exactly,
absolutely know that when you play these European festivals, you get so well taken care of. What would be your favorite festival that you have played
in Europe,
or just in general?
Yeah, I mean,
if you had to pick one,
probably Hellfest. I would say. Yeah, I mean, it's curated so well musically that, I feel like you show up and you're a fan of heavy music, there's going to be a ton of bands you want to see regardless. You're going to have a good time, and it's kind of like heavy metal Disney at this point. The festival grounds are so uniquely, built, and it's
like crafted. There's all these weird metal structures everywhere,
castles, and I mean, we just played there last month, and we saw Slayer, and they have these the festival sort of built like a heavy metal castle fortress, and on the walls that sort of surround the main stage, you would see the pyro go off during Slayer at the front of their stage, but then it would continue in a line all down I don't know 800 meters of festival
structures along the side, the side of the
it was just fire.
The stage.
Yeah, just fire for so
That's
far back.
So
it was
cool.
Incredible. It was oh man, they're really dialing it in, and yeah, it was fun.
You brought up Hellfest. Controversial question.
Yeah.
Manowar or Hellfest? Whose side do you take?
I mean, I was a little bummed because I've never seen Manowar. So
were you supposed to play the same day?
Yeah, we did.
Fuck.
But sorry, I should say they played the day before. I got that wrong. But I would have liked to have seen them just because they're breaking up, and I've never watched Manowar. I would, but I don't know. I haven't heard what the official ruling is, but from what I heard, they were a bunch of divas for no reason and canceled. So I would definitely back Hellfest over.
They've definitely taken care of me very well both times I played it, so I'm leaning towards them, and I don't own a single Manowar CD.
Again, you know, I do own some Manowar CDs, vinyls actually I should say, but I think the weird thing with Manowar is I feel like there's what do you call it? What do you want to call it? It's sort of this idea of privilege that is like sort of maybe in some of their heads. I don't know any of these people, obviously, but like my only other experience was one time we were at this heavy metal award show in London, England, and we'd just been there like hanging out. Some of our friends were playing. I think I watched Biohazard. It was cool. And anyways, I was heading out early to like go hang out with some friends or something and get some dinner. And as I'm leaving, this like army of security guards starts running down the hallway and like freaking out and like basically pins me up against the wall, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And they're freaking out, and they're like and they're doing this to like anybody who's in the hallway
to clear the way for their path,
to clear the way for Joey Demaio,
unbelievable,
who was just there to like present an award,
unbelievable,
and then like
no handshakes,
no like
no eye contact.
It was just like no one can look at him, no one can talk to him, stay out of his way, and they like he had this like this guard walking him to some like limo, and it was just the most hilarious thing, because it was like in the backstage like loading dock of an arena, so there's nobody there. Like, it's literally
I don't fucking believe it. You know, then you have
there's
to
like
ask
literally
yourself,
a couple security guards and like a janitor and me, and like they're freaking out like it's, I don't know, like.
But is it ego, or does he have like social anxiety where he just can't handle it?
I don't know. It was just the most bizarre thing ever. So then when I heard that, and I don't know if this is the official thing, but what I heard was that they canceled the festival because they weren't allowed to sound check while another band was playing on the stage directly beside them.
Which is
literally
standard practice.
Yeah.
And fucking
it's
rude.
just courtesy, right?
Yeah.
You know? The only other time I ever saw that happen was in Australia, and it was pretty funny because there was a band who was like a bit more melodic, and then this metal band started like sound checking their drums during this like semi-acoustic set, and it was just like, and the drummer from the acoustic band, who is this tough burly dude, walked over to the other drummer and he says, after the set, he goes, if I ever catch you doing that again, I'm gonna stick my fucking knife right through your snare. Because they had to play. It was a traveling festival, so they had to do the same stage every day. He's like, "Don't ever fucking do that again." It was like, whoa, that was gnarly. But anyway, so this just sounded like the even sort of like overprivileged baby version, and I was just like, Manowar, I don't want to hear that from you. Like, I like you guys bragging about being the loudest band ever. That's all great, but like, no, like really, you're gonna like disappoint all these fans because you can't sound check, like as if your sound guy doesn't have your sound dialed in.
Seriously,
like, come on, it's just like it's just weird, and it's like to me that just reeks of somebody like not wanting to do what they actually.
It's like
doing.
Insecurity.
Yeah, it just feels weird. Yeah.
You side on Hellfest.
Oh, for sure I do. It's a shame because I feel like, we're all here as like, we're very lucky to have music as careers, and it's like people are like, you have fans showing up, paying to see you. It matters
especially
to them.
as a headline.
Yeah, you owe that to them to just go, oh yeah, I'll suck it up and do it, right? Yeah.
Vox&Hops is a lot about beer.
Awesome.
Before we started recording, I said, do you like beer? And you said, no, I don't drink.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I never liked the taste of alcohol. It was always something that, like, as I would try to drink to be cool when I was a teenager, at parties and stuff, I felt like I was forcing myself to do something that felt really wrong. And not necessarily like morally, I just like didn't like it. I didn't like how I felt as I would get drunk or whatever. I don't really care what other people do.
Of course.
And I'll say this, like, I actually really like cooking with beer.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Give me your beer of choice and your best recipe.
Okay, yeah. So I like so my wife is from Slovakia.
Fucking right.
So
yeah.
So they have a lot of really good beer there, according to my father-in-law. He loves it and stuff. But so there's this beer from there called Zlatý bažant,
I feel like I've heard it.
It
before,
means
yes.
golden pheasant
Yes.
in English, and so that or Staropramen, which is a Czech beer that people like a lot, or Šariš is another one. And anyway, so one of the traditional Slovak foods is goulash.
Fucking
so
right.
we'll make like a beef goulash, and they didn't necessarily do this, but because I like cooking and I know that, there's the sweetness and the extra flavor that beer can add to something, especially when the alcohol is cooked down. Really, it can help like add that extra level of depth and dimension when you're cooking something like a stew, a goulash. And I really like doing that. And in fact, the other day I made a beef brisket at home, and I put a bottle of Slovak beer around it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's like a nice Slovakian beer.
Yeah.
And not like a Bud Light or something.
No. My wife likes drinking beer, and she's very picky about what she has because, I don't know if it's just because, being from Eastern Europe, she's kind of spoiled because there's very strong beer tradition there.
Yes, and it's pure and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the water's higher quality, even
pristine ingredients.
Exactly. So we usually have some stuff kicking around the house, and I cook with it. So
That's so cool.
yeah, and then
like
she
that.
gets mad at me because she'll be like, "Oh, don't use my good beer." Like,
I gotta
come
get
on,
it from
but it'll taste
the
better.
liquor store.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just get it at the gas station.
I know.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
No problem, man.
I really
Enjoyed it.
appreciate it. I'm stoked to watch your set. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Great.
Cheers, brother. Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. It's always a strange situation when you sit down with someone, in my context, Vox and Hops, and you want to share a beer with them, and the person doesn't end up drinking. Scott was super cool nonetheless. Everybody walks their own path in this life. You have to respect that. He respected me, and I respected him, and I have a lot of love for the Cancer Bat. So shout out to Scott for sitting down and being a good sport with a primarily beer-based podcaster. So thank you, Scott. I did find it very interesting that we turned it into what beers he ended up using to cook with, and that made me think, I think you guys should send me some of your recipes that you use to cook beers with, and I'll share it out there with all the rest of the Vox and Hops heads. So send me your recipes where you use beer as one of the ingredients. You can send it to Matt at voxandhops.com. That's MATT at VOXANDHOPS.com. And I'll share it with the rest of the Vox and Hops heads out there. I'm stoked to hear that. I hope that you guys have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. And remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.